Hello Skillr Boxers. Today we will break down a hard punch to master, but once perfected, it can be the key to open many locks in the ring. Well, today we'll analyse exactly why we consider it one of the most useful power punches in boxing. Many legendary fighters have built their careers on devastating hooks, proving just how impactful a well-executed hook can be for your game. We will take a look at the lead and rear hook, exploring its variations, going through all details. We will also analyse why it is such a useful power punch and how you can use it to your advantage. And at the end of the video, we will go over things to keep in mind when throwing the hook and what to look out for to be able to execute it safely. So let's start by analysing how to throw the ideal hook. But before we start the breakdown, we wanted to share an update from our sponsor, Boxing Timer Pro. App version 1.5 introduces a new motion capture library with a growing collection of essential patterns and techniques. This update also adds 2 new training modules to the Skillr section. Download today and master the sweet science. Skillr Boxers can use the code below for an exclusive discount. Mechanics. There are various ways to throw a hook depending on the fighter's physique and style, but the most important aspect is rotation. As the hook is a looping punch, your body's rotation will generate the power behind it.
I'm going to turn my front hip, my heel, my knee, everything, I'm going to turn it inward, and then the only thing I'm going to do is bring my upper body with me.
First thing will be to load up the punch by slightly turning your body to the side from which you will punch. If you are throwing the lead hook to your lead side, and if you are throwing the rear hook to your rear side. Now the punch is loaded. Then, use your body to rotate to the opposite side while your arm moves in a circular looping motion. This rotation must be synchronized from your knees, hips, and torso to your arms. Weight distribution will be key. That's why a good combination for the lead hook is the 2-3, as the end of the 2 loads up the beginning of the 3.
So if I threw my straight right hand, okay, and I bring my hand back, as you can notice, I already put myself in position. I distributed my weight to my front foot. And then the only thing I'm gonna do from right here is throw the hook, is bang, distribute the weight.
There he is, but guess what? People want to throw and he caught him with a left.
Same way with the rear hook. A great combination is the 1-4, as the end of the 1 loads up the beginning of the 4.
It's always good to throw the right hook after you throw the jab. So I throw a jab and I'm going to do a little step with the jab. Then from there, the right hand comes from the face. I'm coming all the way around, turning it into the hook.
An important detail for the lead hook will be the front foot position. To allow the hook to turn, the foot has to slightly turn too.
No care in the world. Oh, no.
By having the heel of the ground and slightly rotating the front foot, you will allow the hook to flow smoothly. But as mentioned, this should be very subtle and not exaggerated. Keep the elbow in line with your arm to ensure you punch with the knuckles and avoid turning it into a slap. And as always, the chin should be tucked and the free hand protecting your face. Lastly, there's one last detail that makes for 2 variations of hooks. Variations: neutral hand versus pronated hand. When throwing a hook, especially for beginners, there's often the question, should your thumb be up, neutral hand position, or facing in, pronated hand position? Different fighters prefer different variations. Some argue that a neutral hand position is better for long range hooks, while the pronated hand position works better for short range.
When you're throwing a nice short hook, you keep your thumb, your palm facing the ground. As your punch starts to extend, your thumb comes up.
Some say the pronated hand position is actually better for long range, as otherwise it ends up slapping the opponent.
When you throw the vertical hook at the close distance, it will land, but when your opponent is far, it's a problem. Say I want to punch you, you have lifted your glove just a little and I cannot land, but when you throw the horizontal hook, your shoulder will allow your fist to go around the block.
The one thing to keep in mind is that with the neutral hand position, your bicep will intervene more in the punch, while with the pronated hand position, the triceps will be activated. It can be argued that more power can be generated with the neutral hand position, as you are using more of your biceps.
Have an opportunity to do so.
But with the pronated hand, you can adjust the trajectory of the punch better, having more precision.
Learn experience for Emma.
In reality, there's no strict right way. It will be up to what feels best for you, but the basic mechanics stay the same. Now, let's find out why we consider it such a useful power punch, and how it can be used as a solution to many problems in the ring. Use cases of the hook. Finding holds in solid guards. First of all, it is interesting to understand the main targets of the hook, and why it has such a devastating effect.
Duno, Garcia able to land that right now, down he goes!
Apart from all the power generated with the rotation of the body, the hook often targets very sensible areas of the head.
Tranquille. Oh! Wow! Et là! Aïe aïe aïe!
When an opponent has a fundamentally sound and solid guard with his chin tucked and protected, only exposing the skull, straight punches will often have less of a powerful effect on the opponent. And in some cases, it can even lead to hand injuries.
When I was throwing my punches, it was hitting on the top of his head, so that's why my hand was hurting.
A great solution is to come around the sides with a hook. Those looping shots will target the sensible areas on the side of the head, such as the temple.
Glancing left hook, it didn't look like much, but those are the shots that really hurt, when they graze you off the temple.
In general, any shot around that area can quickly disrupt the opponent's balance and cause severe damage. Lead hook against the Philly shell. In this case, the lead hook has proven to be one of the most effective punches against the Philly shell. From a bladed stance, straight punches are often blocked or deflected as they come in a straight line. An effective punch, especially when thrown with intent, is the lead hook.
Without a doubt, big left hook. Plant might have gotten hurt.
From the Philly shell, it can be defended by blocking with the rear hand, or by bending at the waist. The hook has proven to be quite useful in the first scenario, especially if the punch is thrown with good rotation and power.
At the 2013.
Just blocking with the rear won't be enough to absorb the power. Some fighters also tend to slightly pull back and leave a space on the front, where the lead hook can sneak through. In that position, and with such a powerful punch, the consequences can be fatal. Now, something similar happens when facing the opposite stance. Rear hook against Southpaws. When facing Southpaws, especially Southpaws using a bladed stance, this time the rear hook is a very effective punch. As before, many boxers' instincts will be to pull back on a semi-straight line, to which the rear hook will be perfectly aligned. Even if it hits the glove or doesn't land completely clean, it can be a very dangerous punch.
So often the case with the keep the ring a bell, but as he takes another big shot.
At the same time, it can be thrown with the head off the centre line, so not only is it a dangerous punch for the opponent, but also a safe punch to throw for you.
The head stumbled. Oh! Look at him here, he's in trouble, he's in trouble.
Effective against parrying opponents. When facing an opponent who likes to parry or catch jabs with their rear hand, often engaging in hand games, the hook can be a great way to exploit this tendency. As it is a looping shot and the jab is a high volume punch, it is a perfect combination. By repeatedly throwing the jab, you can condition your opponent to parry or catch it. Once they've internalized that response, you can feint the jab and come around with a hook, landing on the open side.
Almost any Triple G fight. She hasn't moved back.
A similar approach works against opponents who rely heavily on a tight central high guard. Exploiting the high guard. The jab rear hook combination is especially effective against opponents who use a high guard to block punches.
Tired or frustrated? He hits hard enough to keep you.
A big man. Oh, great shots. Terrific right.
When they block the jab centrally, they often leave the sides of their head exposed, presenting an opportunity for a powerful rear hook to land cleanly. In this scenario, the jab can also serve as a blinder, obstructing your opponent's vision and making it harder for them to see the hook coming around the sides. Powerful punch moving backwards. Another effective use of the lead hook is to throw it while moving backward. Generating power from a rear punch while retreating is typically challenging. Same thing happens with the jab and the lead uppercut. These punches tend to lose power when thrown off the back foot. However, the rear hook can still generate significant power while moving backward. It has proven to be a highly effective punch, especially for catching opponents as they lunge forward. The ability to generate force while retreating makes it a dangerous weapon in the right situations.
Youngster just saying, man, I can do this whenever I want. There it is though!
But even though it has many use cases, the hook, same as any other punch, will carry some inherent risk to look out for. Things to look out for. Loss of balance. Any punch thrown with intent can lead to a loss of balance, but this is especially true with the hooks. Unlike straight punches, where the weight transitions smoothly from back to front and the lead foot serves as a stabilizer, the hook involves a rotational movement. As the rotation goes from one side to the other, unless you are in a very wide stance, it can be difficult to stabilize when overextending, leading to a loss of balance. Longer path to travel. A key factor to keep in mind when throwing a hook is the nature of the punch itself. A hook's looping circular motion means it has a longer path to travel before reaching the target. In contrast, straight punches like the jab or cross take a much more direct route. Because they move in a straight line, they have a shorter distance to travel and typically land faster. So the theory says that when thrown at exactly the same time, say a rear hook against a cross, the cross will land first.
To this point. Oh, big right hand!
This timing advantage is the reason you'll often hear the saying, straight punches beat looping punches. While the hook can be powerful and effective, its longer path means it has a built-in delay compared to the faster, more direct straight punches.
He's struggling with the range
And despite its inherent risks, the rear hook remains an incredibly useful punch. Not only does it offer the potential for devastating knockouts, but it also serves as a solution for many scenarios. But now, we would love to know your opinion on the comments. What other use cases or things to look out for can you think of? Let us know, and if the video was interesting, you can find out more in our channel. And to your left, there's a video specially suited for you.